Hello, welcome to Zoom. We are going to do the Mineral Identification Lab video today. I'm going to try and share my screen with you, and hopefully it will work this time. I've been having a few issues with this. Zoom has not wanted to cooperate so far tonight, but we'll see how it goes. So the Mineral Identification Lab is scheduled for the 18th of February. However, with the snow days based on wind chill and snow happening this week, that may change regardless of what date it falls on. This is the video for that lesson. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be for in-person and virtual students. We're all going to do the virtual mineral identification lab using the websites because of the snow days. Okay, so you're going to go into the modules page, go down to the correct date for the lesson, and you're going to click on Mineral ID Lab right here. So let's get into it. And this is your Mineral ID assignment page. So you need to read the background information in the document below, make a copy of the Mineral ID Lab procedure and answer document by clicking here. So click this link. It will ask you, would you like to make a copy of this document? You're going to say yes, make a copy. And it will bring you into this page. So this is going to be your answers to pre-lab questions. And the information to answer these questions are going to be found in this background information page. Once you've made the copy of this, you're going to fill in your answers on your copy of the document. And when you're ready to click submit, you'll push the submit button that's going to be up here where mine says published, unpublished. Yours will be blue and say submit. And then scroll down to the bottom, go to the Google Drive tab, and then go through the process to choose your document that you just made, attach it, and submit it. Please make sure that you have answered the questions and filled in all of the charts before you push submit. You will notice that there are pre-lab questions. Then it gives you your procedure with links that you will need in order to complete the lab. Here's your lab instructions, which we'll go through in a minute. Then you have some post-lab questions here, and it tells you the charts for this lab are on the pages below. So please make sure you fill in these charts completely. Yes, you do need to complete all of the sample identifications. So igneous rock, you need 12. Sedimentary rock, you need 12. Metamorphic rock, you have 8. Minerals, you have 20. So please make sure that you fill in those charts completely and you answer both the pre and post lab questions in order to get full credit for this lab. So here's your pre-lab information. Just read through the information. There's a video demonstration of how to test for these properties. And then here's information about the basic tests. Please read through this. It tells you about each one of the properties that you're going to be looking at and looking for. So color is the most easily observed, but it's also the most variable, and it's the least reliable for identification. Streak is the color of the mineral once you powder it. So in order to test for that, you're going to press the mineral down as you drag it across the porcelain or ceramic tile streak plate. And the color of the powder that's left behind is known as the streak. Hardness, you're going to use various objects to try and scratch the mineral, or press the mineral against those objects to try and scratch the object. If the mineral is scratched by the object, then the mineral is softer than the object. If it's not, then the mineral is harder than the object. Cleavage or fracture. Cleavage is an orderly breakage with well-defined planes. It has sharp corners, flat sides. It's very, very structured and orderly. Fracture means it's got a random breakage. It's just kind of a rough random mess. There's no real planes or straight edges. It just breaks randomly. You are not going to actually break minerals. Even if we were doing this lab in person, you would not be breaking minerals. You would just observe what they look like and try and determine their breakage pattern from what they look like. Heft. So how much heft the mineral has, you're going to determine that by holding it in your hand and kind of feel the weight of the mineral in your hand. Does it seem to be comparative to the size of the mineral, or is it lighter or heavier than other rocks or minerals of the same size? And then in general, the heft of a metallic mineral is going to be more than a non-metallic mineral. And you're just going to classify them as light, heavy, or very heavy for the purposes of our lab. I don't believe you're actually going to test for heft in the virtual lab. That would just be in the in-person lab. Luster. This is how much the mineral refracts light. Easiest to distinguish is metallic versus non-metallic. There are a bunch of different classifications as sub-classifications of non-metallic, but the two big umbrellas are metallic versus non-metallic. Some of the sub-classifications for non-metallic would be pearly, vitreous, resinous, greasy, silky, earthy. And then if you click this link here, there's a chart of what those kind of look like. If you click that link. So here is your chart of the different lusters. Okay, so metallic, it kind of looks like a metal, so gold or chrome or something similar. And then non-metallic is basically everything else. Other tests that you can do, most of these we are not going to perform in the classroom, even if we did a in-person lab. Unfortunately, with COVID and the limited amount of time we have with each class period, only seeing you guys every other day, every other week, it makes it really hard to do some of these labs, even if we have the supplies. And this one, we do have the supplies, we don't have the time. So if we have the makeup snow days at the end of the year, we will probably include this as one of the activities that we do near the end to kind of catch you guys up with it. But for now, other tests that you're going to look at are the magnetism test. If you hold a magnet up to the rock, does it attract or repel the rock? If so, then that rock is magnetic. Sulfuric acid test. This is one that we do not do in person due to safety concerns. But if you put some acid on the mineral, it'll start to bubble and react to it. Taste tests. Again, we don't taste the minerals. Please don't lick the minerals, put them in your mouth, or anything of the sort, even if we did this in person. But taste can be used to help identify some minerals, such as halite, which tastes salty, if you were allowed to taste them, which you are not. Crystal shape. We don't test for this because we don't have equipment that's going to allow you to see it. It's basically the atomic structure of the mineral, how those atoms join together. It's the shape that they form in. So crystal shape is very structured and ordered. It's going to be the same in every sample of a particular type of mineral. There's lots of different shapes it can be. And if you want to see some of those shapes, again, you can look here. And these are just a few examples of some of the shapes that the crystal structure or crystal shape can come in. Specific gravity, again, we're not going to test for this even if we did it in person. But this is the ratio of the mass of a mineral and the mass of an equal volume of water. A mineral's specific gravity can be determined by dividing its weight in the air by the weight of an equal volume of water. We substitute weight just for ease of use. Mass and weight are not the same thing. Transparency. You can look through the mineral and see what's on the other side of it. Translucency. Light passes through, but not images. So you can, it's clear enough that you can see light go through it, and you can tell that, you know, you can see something on the other side, but not necessarily what it is. Opaqueness, no light is transmitted, even on the thinnest edge, so you cannot see through it at all. Okay, the last part of this document is going to be, again, directing you towards this document that you made a copy of. That document that you made a copy of is going to be your actual lab procedures, along with all of your pre- and post-lab questions. You must answer every question and fill in every line of every table in order to earn full points for this assignment. I cannot stress this enough. I don't know how many times I've given you guys assignments over the course of the semester or the year, and I've received emails back saying, do I have to do the whole thing? Or can I turn it in with just this much of it done? You can turn it in, not completed, but you're not going to earn full points for that. So please make sure that you get it done. This is a 50-point lab due on February 26th. That's going to give you guys plenty of time to get this lab done, even barring snow days. So even if we have snow days that push this back, the 26th due date will remain. I pushed it out far enough that it would be fine. Again, it's open until May 18th, just like all of our other assignments. So let's take a look at what your lab is actually going to look like. So here's the copy that you clicked the link and made your own document. So these first questions here, the pre-labs, are all going to be based off of either your notes or that reading that we just went through. So answer all of these questions and then come down to your lab procedure. So what you're going to be doing is becoming familiar with minerals and how to identify their different properties. You're also going to use your deductive reasoning to look at those properties, compare them to a table, and determine what mineral is in that sample. Since this is a virtual mineral identification lab, you're going to use a series of websites to do this instead of a set of tools. And all of the websites that you need are linked right here. They are also linked at the top of each table. So the name of the table here is a link to the website for that table. And they are also linked throughout the instructions here. So there's lots of places for you to find it. This top link here is linked to that pre-lab page we just went through. So our procedure. Read through the pre-lab information, answer all of the pre-lab questions above if you've not already done so. If you have, skip step 1 and move right on to step 2. Each of the websites in the minerals list will present you with images of a sample along with a series of tests to perform. The next few steps in your procedures are going to take you through each one of those websites that you're going to look at. So, for the minerals testing website, you're going to read the given background information because it's going to help you with sample testing. So you're going to click the Mineral ID website to begin, read the information in the background up here, read all of this, and then click on sample number 1 to begin this part of the lab. Test the properties of the mineral by clicking on the appropriate buttons. For the hardness test, you're going to click on one of the hardness numbers to perform the scratch test. You'll see a pop-up window that gives you the results. Keep doing this with different numbers until you figure out how hard the mineral is. Record all of your results by clicking the correct radial button in the table below the sample. Click on each of the other tests and record the results in the same way. Once you've tested all the properties, compare it to the reference chart here. You can use this chart to identify the mineral name by finding the mineral that matches all the properties in the test that you performed. Choose the correct name on the website just below the properties. Click Grade Identification, and then it'll give you a pop-up that tells you if you're correct or not. If you're correct, copy everything down onto your table and move on to the next. If you're incorrect, fix whatever choices you need to fix and try again. Keep doing that until you are correct on all of your samples. Once you've done all of your mineral samples, you'll move on to Metamorphic Rock. So what does that look like? Well, let's come over here to the website. You're going to read through all this information. And this is actually going to give you a list of minerals that you're going to be able to identify here. And then you're going to go down here and click on a sample. So you're going to start with sample number 1. This is your image of the mineral. And then you are going to do all of these tests on the mineral. So the hardness test. Click on one of the hardness buttons to perform a hardness scratch test. It's clear. It's very structured and orderly. We're going to start off with a 3. On a 3, the sample was scratched. So then I'm going to go to a 2. On a 2, the sample was not scratched. So our hardness is going to be between a 2 and a 3. So we're going to come down here. The mineral color is going to be white. Hardness, it was not scratched at a 2. It was at a 3. So we're going to put the hardness at a 2. Let's look at the cleavage or fracture test. You'll see this pop-up window for each of these. Breaking the sample resulted in 1 cleavage direction and irregular fracture. So cleavage is 1 direction. Fracture is irregular. Then we're going to do the streak test. The powdered sample is white in color. So our color was white. So then our streak right here is also white. Magnet test. The magnet is not attracted to the sample, so we're not going to click the magnet. Hydrochloric acid. The sample did not react to hydrochloric acid, so we're going to leave that blank. Taste test. Remember, we are only doing that because it's virtual. There's no discernible taste. For luster, we need to just observe the image. And this does not appear to be metallic at all, so we're going to go with non-metallic. And we're going to compare this to our mineral list that we were given. So we're going to actually right-click Return to Introduction, open it in a new tab, and we're going to look at this list and see which one of these minerals matches our sample that we had. So let's take a look. All of these are not white. Hardness of 9 reacts to hydrochloric acid. Hardness of 4, gray. So you're going to read through here until you find one that looks like it may be correct. So possibly gypsum. And let's go ahead and give that one a try. So we're going to go to gypsum. And let's do grade identification. We missed crystal form other. We didn't really see a crystal form in this, and there wasn't a test for it up there. We're going to go NA for other. Let's go not present for crystal form and try that. There we go. So since there's not a crystal form test, go ahead and click not present. Don't forget to click NA on this other column if none of those apply. And that will give you a box that tells you what you've done. You'll notice that when I left that unchecked, it told me that we missed. So right now it's saying congratulations, you correctly identified the mineral. If I uncheck NA, oh, let's uncheck NA. Let's just do HCl. It's telling you you missed the other, so there's something wrong in this column that we misidentified, or we've guessed the wrong mineral. So if we put, say we said it was graphite, you missed the mineral name, okay? So once it tells you, congratulations, you've gotten it right, you're gonna put all of these characteristics, all of these properties into line 1 of your table for minerals. So scroll down to your mineral properties, and you're going to put the name, which was gypsum, and then you're going to put each one of these properties that you found in that test, or in your lab that you've done there, along here. So color white, streak white, hardness 2, cleavage 1 direction, sulfuric acid test. We're going to put no. We did a hydrochloric acid test instead. It's okay. Luster. I'm actually going to, let's change this and just say, you can change this and make it just say acid if you'd prefer. Luster is non-metallic. Magnetic is no. Taste test, no. And then move on to mineral 2. So once you're done, click OK. You've got it in your table, and you're going to go right on to mineral number 2. And you're going to do all of the same things, okay? Don't forget to push not present, and then for other, put NA if all of those are negative. So you're going to keep doing that all through the mineral identification for all of your minerals. Once you're done with your minerals, you're going to go through and do the exact same thing with your Metamorphic Rock. So you're going to go to this Metamorphic Rock ID website. We're going to come over here and scroll down to our table for Metamorphic Rock. And you're going to do all of your metamorphic samples. This gives you information about them. Texture, foliation, composition type, parent rock, rock name. This is all the information you're going to test for. Go ahead and right-click on that number 1 to open it in a new tab, and then go to that tab. This is sample number 1. So you're going to identify each of those properties that are listed out on this background information. So you want to read through this because this is how you identify the rock. So again, you're going to go through and do the same thing. You're going to do your acid test. It did not react. You're going to observe it to figure out your texture, foliation. You're going to go hardness test here. Click on the hardness button. Hardness cannot be used on this sample. Most of your samples are actually going to say that. This is mostly going to be observations. So based on what you read over here about texture and foliation, does it have that or not? And then you're going to go through and you're going to click your buttons again. It's foliated, schistose. What kind of minerals are you seeing? What kind of mineral is it? And then take a guess at it. Grade identification. And it's going to tell you what you missed. So again, trial and error. Make your observations based on what you've read here. If you don't read this, you're going to really struggle with this part of it. So please, please, please make sure that you read the background information. You can continue to try to change what you've missed until you get it right, and then again, put all of your properties here on Metamorphic Rock. You're going to go through that same rock process for igneous, and then again for sedimentary. Okay. Once you're done, you've filled in all of your tables, you've answered the pre-lab questions, then you're going to answer your post-lab questions here. Which mineral property tests are subjective? I will fix that so that it says subjective in the main one that you're going to make a copy of. Okay. Which mineral properties give clear, consistent results? So that would be objective. Every time you do the test, no matter who does it or what size the sample is, you get the same results. So, your gypsum is always going to have a hardness of 2 every time. That would be a property that would go on number 2. Your quartz is purple. Color would be a property that would go on number 1. It's subjective. It may look a light purple to you. It may look a weird shade of white to someone else, and it changes. At least one test that we would not be able to perform in class and why. Pick one and then tell me why you think we can't perform that one. And there are several of them. And then tell me what mineral, what you can tell about minerals. Can you identify them with only one property? Or do you need to do several properties in order to figure out what it is? Once you've completed this assignment, go ahead and go back over to your assignment here. Click up here where it's going to be blue and say published. Go ahead and submit it. And as long as you have done the entire assignment, you should be able to earn full credit. If you don't explain your answers where you've been asked to, you will not receive full credit. If you don't fill in all of the tables completely, you will not receive full credit. If you've done what you were supposed to and you followed directions, then you have nothing to worry about. And have fun, enjoy, and we will see you next time.